In this demo, I'm going to show you how to use the stitch dot hexagons and the plain hexagons to make this beautiful hexagonal stand-up card. So you can see there how it stands up. You can see through the top element. When I hold it up, you can see there that it stands and is really 3D, but it folds completely flat for posting. So to start with, we need to cut ourselves 4 white hexagon frames. Now, the best way to do this is to choose 2 of the plain dies. So you would just choose 2 random plain dies, and you want to make a nice big gap in between. So we'll go a little bit smaller. And you want to cut this 4 times. Now, one of the best ways to do this is to actually tape your dies together. I've actually got it done here in the stitch dot for the panel that fits in. So what I've done is put them equally around. I've then put low tack tape on each of the 4 junctions to keep this nice and secure, and then I've added a little bit of masking tape or washi tape over the top of the low tack tape to keep that fixed in place, and that means that each cut will be exactly the same. I'm going to move those out now, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do and how we're going to start putting it together. So we've got our 4 shapes and they're all identical, and what we're going to do is, here's one I've already started. So just make sure that you've got them in the right place, and you're going to take one of these and you're going to fold it exactly in half. So just fold it evenly in half and crease that line. What we then need to do is to fold back on this junction here. This is what will give us our little spring. So we fold that back and we then turn it over and fold it the other way, just to make sure that that's nice and loose. You can see there we've got our sort of spring. So we do this twice. I've glued one already to one side. I'm then going to glue the other one, but you need to make sure you only glue the 2 pieces at this side here. So you don't want to actually glue your spring down. So I'm just going to match up those 2 pieces, make sure that's nice and glued and that it meets in the middle, and you can see there how those pull out. So again, you could actually make a different version of the card with those sort of sections pulled out, putting a bigger front on there. So it's a great way to experiment and play with. So I've made that. So what I need now is the front piece. So I will take another front piece and I will glue that on, but I want to decorate that. So this is where I took 2 of the stitch dot dies that were smaller than the original, so that I get a beautiful mat on either side of that. And I've cut this in the mouse grey Crafts 2 linen card. You can see here, I've already cut that, which fits on and gives us that lovely dimension and the beautiful detail from the stitch dot. So I've got one here and I've just mounted this already on foam tape. And remember, again, you only want to glue these 2 side panels. You don't want to put any glue or tape where the springs will be. So we just marry that up and that neatens everything across, and we press that down. And when we do, you can see there our springs work. So our card stands up straight like that. You can see from the top, we get the 3D, but it folds completely flat. So next we want to decorate this, and I've done this using pieces from the hexagon set. So to start with, I've cut a smaller hexagon with the stitch dot, and I made sure that this in black is smaller than this mat here, so that we go from the mouse grey to the white to the black linen card, which looks really nice in the centre. And what I've done is cut out, using the largest hexagon plain, a piece of acetate to sit at the back. So all I need to do now is to glue this on. So I've already glued the black frame onto the acetate, and I'm just going to add glue around the outside, and then we'll simply marry up our piece, making sure that that frame is nice and even. You can see there I've got a nice even frame. If I bring a piece of white card in, you'll see this a little bit better. but you can see there, you've got that lovely black frame in the center. So I've used then a continuation. So all the pieces from the middle, I've cut them out in different sizes. So I've gone for a plain black layer. I've gone for another frame to match this one in the mouse grey, done with the beautiful stitch dot, mounted onto white, and then we've got a black, mouse grey and a white layer stuck down with a sentiment glued in the middle. So I've attached a little bit of foam tape onto this, just so that, again, it keeps that 3D element. So we're going to place that in the centre so that it all matches, and you can see it looks as if it's floating because you've got that acetate. I've used a few of the smaller hydrangea flowers, die cut in the black and the mouse grey, around the edge, and I'm just going to put a little arrangement of these onto the top edge. You don't want to put any flowers coming over the bottom because obviously it won't stand. So we're just going to pop these along the top edge, and you could decorate this however you want. There's loads of different ways. I've used, again, the larger hydrangea flower, and I've just cut those and put a little bead in the centre of each one. And there we go. So a very complex looking card, but simply cut by using the nesting qualities of the PressCut dies. So we start with 4 of the plain white frame. We have 1 of the frame there, which connects into it and puts on top. And then I've used different dies in the set to give me this beautiful arranged here. And in the next demo, I'll be showing you how we make a set of frames like this.